Nasir Saab and I both basically know just the bare rudiments of playing chess. So we were more worried.
I practiced in front of my bathroom for days just to do those 30 seconds.
If your co-actors are receptive and they let you do what you want to do, I think you come across as a good performer. And I give them a lot of credit for it.
OTT has been a game changer for entertainment in this country.
Because it was such a beautiful background, because Nasir Saab was helming it as well, so there were so many reasons. The minute I saw you, I took my matka and threw it.
Yes. So ladies, welcome on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faridoon. This is good.
So I've seen 4 episodes
Again.
of Kaun Banegi Shikharwati. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm very, very particular about my gym in the morning every day, no matter what I have to go. But today I skipped it because I had to complete these 4 episodes. And it is so engrossing. And, so obviously there are these comparisons with the Squid Game in a way. And I think in a good way, because I think it is India's answer to Squid Game with all the drama and humor attached to it. What are your thoughts, Lara?
No, I don't think Squid Game is very dark, dude. And it's like, you're fighting to survival. I mean, we are fighting for survival.
In Squid Games.
But
there's a rather loud character in Squid Games.
We are fighting for survival.
But Nasir Saab with all these lemons.
We are fighting for survival, but I think, I mean, and I think actually that's quite relatable. I know quite a few eccentric royals who still do stuff like this. I'm not pointing at Soha.
How did you know?
Yeah, so Soha apparently likes to take hot showers. That is the royalty that she thinks has come naturally to her. Even in summers.
Yes, when they ask me what are your nakras, what are your princess-like qualities, and I really struggled, I think. And I came up with the fact that apparently it's it's not usual to want to have hot showers even in July.
Right. And what are the hot exotic fruits that you like to eat?
Hot exotic fruits. I like kiwis.
Right.
Fruits are non-seasonal fruits are very expensive, and I do believe that you should just eat whatever's in season.
But the more important thing is that Soha will not share her food with anyone.
I will absolutely not. If I'm sharing it with you, that means there's something wrong with it. It has expired, or it just does not taste very good.
All right. So that is interesting. Okay, and Anya, how was your experience of being a part of something of this nature and with such wonderful actors, and then you have Raghuveer Yadav and Naseeruddin Shah?
I think it was an absolutely wonderful experience for someone like me who is just also starting on the OTT space and in general just very inexperienced to be a part of a cast like this. Right. Very fortunate, and I had a great time with these people. They're all really strong individuals, but at the same time extremely caring individuals and warm individuals. So it was great to be a part of this cast, and they're all very witty people. So I had a great time. And
on screen, they're supposed to be very, very nasty to each other, horrible to each other. Right. Okay. And so, Lara, I think one factor that is really engaging as far as the series is concerned is the humor and the way the lines have been written. That is so fascinating. And I think the best part about series is that you don't have to worry about oversimplification. जहाँ पर English बोलना है तो English बोली जाएगी. जहाँ पर एक राजस्थानी element आना है तो वहाँ पर वो आएगा. जहाँ पर जो चीज जरूरी है वहाँ पर वो होगा. Which is, I think, the best part in a way about web shows. So if you have to say about the writing and the humor element.
Yeah, so Faridoon, I mean, you've followed part of my career, and I've done so much comedy in my career that in a way I think this was very refreshing because it was written by a woman, and those are very rare and far and few in between, because for a woman to write comedy, I think is quite refreshing. And coming from the fact that also she was writing 4 female characters on screen that all had lines, that all had to perform, So I think for me, a big part of saying yes to the show really honestly was the fact that the writing was humorous and funny. And like you said, it wasn't forced. It's not slapstick humor. It's literally four siblings that bicker. It's the way that you normally would, if you had a sibling, if you all were fighting, the things that you would say to each other, you would be really mean, but it's done in a humorous way. And I love the fact that the writing was very, very refreshing. So it had all of these elements of humor, but like you said, jahan pe Hindi bolna hai, wahan pe Hindi bol lo, Rajasthani element aa jaye, English. And today, to be really honest, most of these royal families, I keep saying, referring to Soha, but are very normal and very cosmopolitan and lead like really normal, everyday sort of lives, they live amongst us like everyday people. So none of them talk like, hum ja rahe hain. Nobody has that kind of craziness to them. So I think that was very refreshing as well.
Right, and there's some lines which are really profound. When Faridoon Shah says after that duel with you on the chessboard, that Bezati se
don't give it away.
Yeah, I think we should, because it's fine. It only ignites interest. So Bezati se dar nahi lagta hai, mohabbat se lagta, which is so brilliant actually.
Yes, it is. And that I've referred to this in other interviews, and I've just said that scene is for me one of the most special scenes that I've done in my career. Because it gave me the opportunity of sharing just up close and personal. It's just the two of us in that scene, and it gave me an opportunity of matching a performance with an actor that I've really looked up to and admired pretty much all my life and through my career, So it was a very daunting scene. I have to say, I woke up that day, I was very nervous, and we really had fun with it. Also, Nasir Saab and I both basically know just the bare rudiments of playing chess. So we were more worried about what we were doing with those pieces on the chessboard than the dialogues that were coming out. But there was so much, there were so many elements. I love the fact that the camera pans away and you actually see the eccentricity of a live chessboard and people. And where he says कि 32 लोगों को ढूंढना इतना मुश्किल होता है एक game chess खेलने के लिए. But that's the world, and it's to understand that that's the world that the Rajkumaris have grown up in. Also for them, that's nothing new. कि ये चल रहा है. It's very normal and very that's how it normally is.
Interestingly, what we come to know is that. That Man Ki Baat necessarily doesn't have to be a monologue. It can be a conversation as well. Yes,
of course. Exactly. And you have to understand that it's a conversation that we're having with our father after a period of almost 6 years. So to get that moment with him alone brings up a lot of things that have been bottled up for a very long time. But each of us, obviously, our Man Ki Baat spills over in different. You can understand when the princesses have their Man Ki Baat with their father. What are those things that have been eating away at them for all those many years? So I think those are very special moments through the show.
All right, and so did you learn the entire dance moves, the entire classical dance moves, or did you already know it?
Does it look like I am a trained dancer for years and years? I thought that I was quite graceful. There was a little bit of cheating. They've cut out a little bit of my dancing, which I'm not sure why. I would say perhaps because of lack of time, as opposed to because the steps were not up to mark. It is only 30 seconds. I practiced in front of my bathroom for days just to do those 30 seconds. And I was very nervous. I mean, Anya here is actually a trained classical dancer. Aren't you?
Yes. But we used to watch practice. You'd be very nervous.
Yes, I was very nervous. I tell them, please don't come and watch me when I'm doing this scene, because I get very self-conscious. But it was all right. I've done a little bit of Kathak training in the past for a film I did called Khoya Khoya Chand. So I sort of went back in time. And I enjoy dancing. It's just I'm not very good at it.
Right. Khoya Khoya Chand, Sudhir Mishra's film, I think one of your best works. Really fine work. Fine film, unfortunately, did not get its due.
But my mother liked it, which is, comparable to box office success.
No, definitely. Very nice music as well. Okay, and Anya, you play a gamer.
Yes.
We live in times when being a gamer is not fun and games. It is serious business now. We live in the times of metaverse, and we live in that time of Web3, and the future is humongous. It is going to be brilliant. So do you take that into cognizance that there is more to being a gamer, and people look at it much differently now? Even meme. You're a meme artist as well. You made a meme on poor Kritika.
You've reached quite far, I have to say.
Right.
you're right. And through this pandemic, actually, if you see, the gaming industry has tripled. It's become a far more bigger industry. And they're very serious gamers. People do this as a profession, whether it's... but the sad part is a lot of them are actually lonely individuals. A lot of gamers, when you talk I haven't spoken to any, but I've read up a little bit. They are reserved. They are socially awkward. Most of them, they are for various reasons, and they find a lot of solace in speaking to each other because, while you're gaming, you talk to each other, but you've never really seen this person. So you're anonymous throughout while you're playing. But to answer your question, I've never gamed before. Anya really does not know how to game. But Uma is great. And I think it's her intelligence that kind of takes over when it's developing a game or developing her memes. So you already understand she's very good with computers and coding, I'm guessing. Apart from that, she's a very socially reserved person. So I think all that she feels might come out in her memes. She might never be able to say this to Kamini upfront. And that's why she makes a meme, because she's such an underconfident and reserved person.
Right. Okay. And Lara, there is this particular level where various sisters, they're competing as far as the acting skills are concerned and all that. So, and so my thought was कि अगर drama अगर है तो Lara Dutta के अलावा कोई जीत ही नहीं सकता, because drama comes naturally. You enjoy the entire element of drama. Would you say that?
I do. Is that not obvious in that scene?
It is very obvious.
My sisters, forget my sisters, my co-stars hated me for that scene because I walk in, take it over, and then get all the lines.
Right.
And they're wearing the most ridiculous outfits, standing behind going, okay, am I supposed to react now or what? What? Anya especially, she loved her ghoda. She was in love with it. She refused to put it down even when they said cut.
The minute I saw you, I took my matka and threw it.
Yes. My thought was, why didn't matka break down?
I tried very hard.
I think they were metal matkas, by the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Because they had doubly thought, they couldn't.
Yeah, we're missing Kritika here. I think
yes.
She's playing
we're
a character.
We're missing Kritika, but how brilliant is Kritika, right?
Yes, and she's playing a character which is complete contrast to what she is in real life.
Yeah.
So the entire low IQ part and all those things, the way they are brought into the picture is something that is not her at all. All right, and so Lara, you've said in an interview recently that you're the busiest now. You're enjoying your stint as an actor maybe the most right now, and the best part is that all four of you're the leads, and you're कोई वो जो stereotyping हमारे वहाँ होती थी कि एक स्टेज के बाद में बहन बन जाते हैं या फिर माँ बन जाते हैं, वो जरूरी बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. आज के टाइम पे मेरी कल बात हो रही थी शिफाली शाह से, तो she is enjoying herself the way she has not enjoyed herself as an actor before. Like Ravina, for example, she's playing a main lead and it's being seen all across the world, and the way she's promoted in terms of the amount of marketing that happens, that is brilliant. Would you say that it's a fascinating phase as a creative person when there is no boundary as far as age, gender, heroism is being redefined? The content is completely redefining itself.
Personally, yes. I think the advent of OTT has been a game changer for entertainment in this country.
Right.
On many levels, not just as an actor, not just as the content that's being made. For me, a big part of it is also the inclusion of the number of women that are now part of the industry that wasn't possible before. So a lot of the OTT platforms are being headlined or headed by women. A lot of the content heads are women. You've got more women producers, directors, writers, DOPs. So I think that in itself has translated into better work and better ideas and better concepts being presented or being created for female actors in the business and in the industry. Right. And I think it's just, today you're addressing a segment or a cohort that for the longest time had gone unaddressed, which is not undressed, thankfully, unaddressed. But it's, that segment of women between the ages of 30, 35 and 55. I mean, you very, very rarely had any content that really spoke to them. And that's changed tremendously. And it gives a lot of faith. I feel heads of various platforms and films also today who actually are looking beyond age. That concept is gone altogether. कि इसकी age क्या है, अब इसको हम कैसे बना सकते हैं? How does she portray, play somebody who's much younger than her chronological age on screen? And yeah, I find that absolutely fascinating, and it's brilliant.
Right. Okay. And Soha, this is your debut as far as web shows are concerned. You've been part of content that has not been the usual in what we can say. Obviously, the sort of family that you come from, extremely creative family, and the friends that you have. Working in this particular project, has it motivated you to do content that maybe you had always wanted to do, the sort of reading that you may have done your entire life, and now you can see that a lot of it can be translated on a screen. Maybe it's a small screen, but it is a more powerful screen in a way now.
Yes, I've never been too concerned with the size of the screen, really, in the past. It was more about the content and what I was doing, and the creative satisfaction of the performance, of course, who you're working with and what you're learning from it. And I think I'm very, very lucky to have had a child and emerged from, my obsession of becoming a mother at a time where there was work for me. Perhaps as we were discussing earlier in interviews, a generation ago, perhaps there wouldn't have been anything for someone in their early 40s. So I feel very lucky. I also feel that this was the right project in Kaun Banegi Shikharwati for me to be sucked out of, the home environment, because it was so exciting, because it's such a talented cast, because it was such a beautiful background, because Nasir Saab was helming it as well, so there were so many reasons. So I do feel that certainly in terms of content, OTT, even theatrical, there's a lot more exciting stuff happening. And I find myself being represented on screen in a way that perhaps, people like me have not been in the past.
Age definitely is too overhyped many a times, especially in Bollywood, for example. Now, अभी जिस तरीके का जो एक bonhomie है नसीरुद्दीन शाह और रघुवीर यादव की, वो उनको king कहते हैं और वो कहते हैं कि that friend, the way they are vibing together, the way are gelling together, great actors. तो वहां पर age factor तो कोई है नहीं. They are extremely entertaining. The way they are conniving in a positive, funny way, interesting way. It is beautiful. The way entire thing is there. So age तो वहां पर कुछ है नहीं.
I absolutely agree. I also feel that the virtues or the burden of having to be virtuous for a traditional hero-heroine make them a little vanilla and boring. And we've always wanted to understand the other characters more, but have never been able to because of the format of a 2-hour feature film. They come and they go. And now you have 8 or 10 hours to play with characters and really explore them and take them places, and it's wonderful.
All right. Okay, so Anya, my sentiment while watching the entire show was that मैंने आपका पहले का काम इत्तेफाक से नहीं देखा है. So मेरे लिए आप एकदम you were like a fresh page which is not having anything written on that. जब आपकी मन की बात हो रही थी नसीर साहब के साथ में, और वो आप बलून्स को आप गोलियों से आप छलनी कर रही थी. So the entire जो आपका पूरा एक stance था, it was extremely confident, and even overall from whatever I've seen in 4 episodes right now, so there is no element of newness और कोई एक raw edges कहीं पर भी मुझे नजर नहीं आए. एक अच्छा एक्टर है और वो अच्छे तरीके से अपने को निभा रहा है, स्पेशली जिस तरीके से आप कृतिका के साथ में आपके जो इंटरेक्शन जिस तरीके से हो रहे हैं, even सोहा को जिस तरीके से आप टॉन्ट कर रहे हैं. It is coming across, it's on sur, it's hitting the right notes at all points of time. With the conversation that I just had with Lara and Soha, so वो एक वो baggage एक शायद मेरे ख्याल से हटता जा रहा है कि that ये एक certain family को belong करते हैं, या फिर ये एक pedigree है, या फिर एक this is the hype around this particular actor, that is why you should like that particular actor. वो चीज नहीं होने की वजह से you're coming across very powerfully, and I think after the show you're going to get great responses as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I actually feel acting is a lot about reacting. I mean, it's completely about reacting. So if I have come across as confident, or if I've been able to hold myself in a scene, I would say a lot of it has to do with my co-actors. You know, the bond that I have with them, or the relationship that I have with them. Of course, it is a professional relationship, but when you're on a set, a lot of times, you know, I have noticed this. Actors will be like, oh, you know, is it okay if I do this in the middle? And then when you say this, if I do this, and you know, it sometimes gets very rehearsed. But on this set, I think it was a very conversational sort of, okay, and collaborative effort where we were just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And comedy is a lot about just flowing and a lot of fluidity, you know. So if your co-actors are receptive and they let you do what you want to do, I think you come across as a good performer. And I give them a lot of credit for it. And thank you for enjoying my performance.